Clint Eastwood is now in his 90s, and he still drives these cars. No one saw this coming. He played the man with no name and Dirty Harry. But Clint Eastwood's real obsession was never the gun. It was the garage. Now in his 90s, the legendary actor and director has spent 7 decades quietly assembling one of Hollywood's most authentic car collections. Built not by a personal shopper or an investment advisor, but by a kid from Oakland who once worked as a lifeguard and golf caddy because his family genuinely could not afford the hot rod he wanted. This is a full story of the cars Clint Eastwood actually owns, and the surprising reasons behind every single one. Number 9. The 1992 GMC Typhoon. Among the most unexpected vehicles connected to Eastwood is a 1992 GMC Typhoon, a high-performance turbocharged SUV from the early 1990s that surprised even car enthusiasts when it became public knowledge that he owned one. Eastwood has openly discussed owning the Typhoon in interviews, including telling Jimmy Fallon about it directly, alongside its mechanical sibling, the GMC Cyclone. The Typhoon was built using a turbocharged V6 engine paired with an all-wheel drive, an unusual and genuinely quick performance package for an American SUV of that era that could embarrass far more expensive sports cars off the line. Its presence in Eastwood's garage reflects a side of his taste that has nothing to do with classic Hollywood glamour, and everything to do with simply liking how a vehicle drives. The same instinct that led a famously understated movie star to choose a muscle-bound 1990s SUV over something with a more obviously prestigious badge. Number 8. The 1966 Morris Mini Countryman Cooper S. Of the 6 Mini Cooper S Travelers ever built by John Cooper in 1966, 2 were rumored to belong to Steve McQueen, and 1 ended up with Clint Eastwood. John Cooper had applied the same motorsport engineering that turned the standard Mini Cooper S into a Group 2 rally-winning machine, the same car that carried Paddy Hopkirk to victory in the 1966 Monte Carlo Rally, and adapted it into this tiny 2-door estate. Eastwood has called it kind of an interesting little car, noting that it came from England with all the Mini Cooper S racing gear, but in a mini station wagon body style, adding plainly that there are not many like it. The Countryman's rear barn doors and diminutive proportions made it a cult classic even at the time, and Eastwood's appreciation for its rarity and oddity reveals a collector who values uniqueness as much as horsepower or prestige. Number 7. The 1932 Ford Roadster. This is a car Eastwood wanted before he could afford any car at all. Growing up in an affluent area of California, the young Eastwood did not study hard at school, preferring to hang out with friends, frequent jazz clubs, and hold down a string of short-term jobs as a lifeguard and a golf caddy. Jobs that left him without the means to chase the hot rod movement that defined his generation of California teenagers. He dreamed of owning a Ford Roadster, but never had the money for one. Decades later, after the financial success of the Dollars trilogy and the Dirty Harry films finally gave him real disposable income, Eastwood bought himself a 1932 Ford Roadster, often called the Deuce, one of the most significant body styles in all of hot rod history. He told USA Today's Anthony Bresnikan in 2008 that he always wanted one as a kid and simply never could afford it, a sentence that captures the entire emotional center of his collection more clearly than any appraisal ever could. Number 6. The 1955 Austin Healey 100M. The Austin Healey 100 debuted to acclaim at the 1952 Motor Show before appearing at the Le Mans 24 Hours the following year, and Don Healy named it the 100 specifically because it could reach 100 miles per hour, a genuine achievement for a road car at the time that quickly earned the model cult status among enthusiasts. Eastwood's particular car was the 100M, a higher performance variant introduced in 1955 with a stiffer suspension and 110 horsepower, finished in glossy black. While other future stars of his era gravitated toward Italian and British luxury brands like Ferrari and Aston Martin, Eastwood's choice of an Austin Healey was something of an oddball pick even at the time. Photographs from his early marriage to Maggie Johnson show Eastwood enjoying the car during his off hours, checking the oil and taking his new wife for drives, a rare domestic glimpse of a young star whose fame from Rawhide had not yet exploded into the global phenomenon his westerns would soon create. Number 5. The 1959 Cadillac Series 62 convertible. In the spring of 1953, Eastwood went on a blind date with a secretary named Maggie Johnson, and it seems things went pretty well. They were engaged by October and married in December. 2 years later, the newlyweds bought themselves a Cadillac Eldorado as a kind of post-marriage gift. A $6,286 car with a 270 horsepower engine and elegant tail fins that represented genuine extravagance for a young couple at the time, well before Eastwood's career had delivered any serious financial security. Decades later, in 1989, Eastwood starred in the action comedy Pink Cadillac, an admittedly weak film about a bounty hunter and a group of neo-Nazis, in which a 1959 Pink Cadillac DeVille was arguably the best thing in it. Eastwood has held on to a 1959 Cadillac Series 62 convertible as a piece of personal nostalgia, connecting his earliest married years to his later screen career. A car that represents both a dream car of the era and a quiet reminder of his own humble beginnings before Hollywood stardom. Number 4. The 1972 Ford Gran Torino Sport. In the Blu-ray extras for his 2008 film Gran Torino, Eastwood revealed that he simply held on to the car after filming wrapped, purchasing it directly from its previous owner rather than letting the production return it. The car was originally found by the film's producers on eBay before being prepared for the shoot. Eastwood drove the green 1972 Ford Gran Torino Sport himself in several scenes, and the Torino, produced for the North American market between 1968 and 1976 and named after the city of Turin, became one of the most direct examples in his entire collection of a screen prop becoming a permanent, personally driven possession rather than returning to a studio lot. Number 3. The 1973 Pontiac Trans Am from Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, and the Smokey and the Bandit Special Edition. Eastwood owned not one, but 2 significant Trans Ams, and the story behind each reveals something different about him. The first was the white 1973 Pontiac Trans Am 455 that appeared in his 1974 road movie Thunderbolt and Lightfoot alongside Jeff Bridges, a car rumored to still be in his possession decades later. The second was a black and gold Trans Am Special Edition modeled on the car from Smokey and the Bandit, complete with screaming chicken decal and a 6.6-liter engine producing 300 horsepower, purchased either because Eastwood genuinely liked the car or as a gesture of support for his close friend and Smokey and the Bandit star, Burt Reynolds. The two actors had a long history together, including the bizarre shared distinction, as Reynolds once told an interviewer, of being fired from Universal Studios on the very same day decades earlier, with Eastwood reportedly told his Adam's apple stuck out too far and that he talked too slow. Number 2. The Jaguar XK 150 Roadster. Built between 1957 and 1961, with fewer than 10,000 examples ever produced, the Jaguar XK 150 was the last model in Jaguar's original XK lineup and one of the most respected British sports cars of its era. Eastwood's example was a 3.8-liter unit producing 220 horsepower, and he loved the car enough to feature a version of it in Play Misty for Me, the first film he ever directed, in 1971. Photographs show Eastwood and Maggie Johnson enjoying the white Roadster together during his early career, and the XK150 holds a particular significance in classic car circles today, since collectors, including Ralph Lauren, have owned related XK models once connected to Steve McQueen, placing Eastwood's taste in good company among the most respected car collectors in the world. Number 1. The Ferrari 365 GT4 Berlinetta Boxer and the Ferrari 275 GTB. At the top of Eastwood's collection sit 2 Ferraris with 2 completely different origin stories, each more interesting than the last. The first is a 1975 Ferrari 365 GT4 Berlinetta Boxer, originally sold new in Italy before being legally imported into the United States and purchased by Eastwood in 1977. The Berlinetta Boxer was one of Ferrari's most radical road cars of the era, powered by a flat 12 engine rather than the V12 used in most Ferraris of the period, a genuinely unusual engineering choice that made the 365 GT4 BB stand apart from nearly every other supercar of its time. Eastwood had a custom roof installed on the car before eventually parting ways with it in 1985. The second, and by far the more legendary, is a 1966 Ferrari 275 GTB, a gift from producer Dino De Laurentiis. According to the story that has circulated for decades, Eastwood had turned down multiple offers to star in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly before finally being tempted with the promise of a brand new Ferrari straight from the factory, at least according to the legend of how the deal came together. The car arrived originally in gunmetal gray before later being repainted metallic green, and it remains one of the most desirable Ferraris ever built, a model whose values have climbed into the stratosphere in the decades since Eastwood owned his. Some who tracked Eastwood's cars over the years have suggested he also owned a second Ferrari, a 308 GTB introduced at the 1975 Paris Motor Show and designed by Pininfarina, the same body style that would later make Tom Selleck's 308 GTS famous on Magnum PI. 2 Ferraris. One came as a thank you gift to secure the performance that helped make him a global star. The other arrived years later simply because, by then, Clint Eastwood could finally buy anything he wanted, including, at long last, the kind of car that the lifeguard and golf caddy from Oakland could never have imagined owning.